Hello, Heidi.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
I can hear very well.
Okay, can you see me well?
Yes.
Hi.
Hello, Marek. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you. So we're just going to wait like another 4 minutes so people can start to join. So Sylvain, you can relax for a second. We're going to start on time and in about 4 to 5 minutes. But I'd like to welcome already the early joiners. Thank you for coming. We will just be on hold for the next couple of minutes, so I appreciate your patience. And we will get started on time. So I'm just going to go on silent, grab myself a quick coffee, and be back in 2 minutes.
Okay.
And anybody who wants to ask any questions or anything, you're able to do so via the Q&A function. I've already seen that Geert said hello, so hello. Also the chat function. Hi, nice to see you. And later on, at the very end of the event, we're going to move to actually the DSL collection. So we will go from here, and we will go online to the actual museum. So Sylvain's museum. I'm going to grab a coffee and be back. Hi, Sam. Nice to see you from Kenya. How are you? Good. Admit. Okay. So people are starting to join. That's good. Okay, also people from the USA are here. Good. So we picked a good time, Sylvain. We picked 4 o'clock for both Europeans. It's a bit late maybe for Hong Kong, but yeah, what time is it in Hong Kong? It must be 10 o'clock at night, I think, or 11 even.
Yeah, so it's a little bit late for them.
Hi, Anu from Barcelona. Nice to see you. You can see the messages as well, by the way, in the chat function, in case anybody wants to see.
You know, it's becoming a small world with this kind of...
Yeah, absolutely. Trying to make it as accessible and smaller as possible. Okay,
it's another way to connect with people.
Nice flowers, Heidi, by the way.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Try to put it in a picture.
Not strategically placed at all.
Excuse me?
Not strategically placed at all.
No.
All right. Okay, so I think we should slowly get started to respect the people who are on time. And as people join, we will update. But Heidi, do you want to kick it off?
Yeah, hi, nice to meet you, everybody. Happy to have you here today. And for some people, I'm sure it's not the first time with us. So welcome back to those people who joined already our webinars. It's our 4th webinar. And Today we have a different kind of webinar. We will talk about immersive spaces, collecting art, and exhibiting art in immersive spaces. And we are super excited today because we have a special guest speaker, Sylvain Levy, today with us. And he is co-founder of DSLCollection, and he will share with us today his expertise and insights. And we're very excited. So let's start.
Okay, so before we get to Sylvain, I will just tell you a little bit about the agenda. Today is not a big talk about ANASAEA. Today, as Heidi mentioned, we're going to talk about immersive spaces, collections, and specifically DSLCollection, which is near and dear to our heart here at ANASAEA. A couple of words, and maybe Heidi, you can go on mute. A couple of words just about ANASAEA. We're a platform that started just over a year ago, actually. We started with artists and have moved on to galleries, foundations, museums, and collectors. The idea behind ANASAEA is sort of art democratization. It's the ability for it to be easy to use, also free to use for artists. We're a global platform, so ANASAEA, each letter stands for the 7 letters of the 7 continents. We are also cross-platform, and we'll talk about that. So it's available in app, it's available in web, and in VR. And later on, we have a small announcement to give Sylvain about the VR part, because we're embarking on a new journey as well together. But in the end, I don't want to talk too much about ANASAEA. I would like to introduce our guest. So I met Sylvain last year in March. I was actually following him on LinkedIn. I suggest that many of you follow him as well. He has a very large following, and I was reading actually a lot of his articles and listening to his posts, and I invited him actually to a meeting, and he said yes. And we started our collaboration just by getting some advice from him about what we were building, because it was right at the beginning. We had no artists. And since then, he's become not only a friend to ANASAEA, but actually I'm kind of proud to say also a friend to me and to Heidi. But Sylvain, maybe you can tell us a little bit about yourself, your history, and maybe a little bit about also the DSLCollection in general.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Heidi. Good morning, good afternoon, Heidi and Marek. Thank you very much for inviting me today to share my experience, and mostly to discuss with you, and to try to show how today the art world is also embracing a new time with this new digital world. I think that if I had to summarize in a few words a very long journey trip, I said very long journey because we've been collecting for 40 years with my wife. So it's quite a long journey. And I can tell you that we've seen a lot of things who has changed in the art world since we began to collect. The notion of art has changed. The notion of accessibility to art has changed. The notion of asset, art as an asset, has changed. The notion of collectors has changed. The notion of artists has changed. And we really have, what was interesting for us is to always try with our journey as a collector to resonate with our time. Resonate with our time means that in 2005, we went to China and we had a shock. We had a shock when you come from a Sleeping Beauty city like Paris to a Red Bull city like Shanghai. You have a shock. And we wanted to express in the collection the energy that we were experiencing in the city, knowing that art is one of the mirror of a society. So this was the beginning of this Chinese adventure. But more than that, we wanted this collection to, I shall say, to embrace the Chinese art scene, but also to embrace the new digital world in which we're entering. 2005 is really the beginning of the internet as something very, I shall say, very used. 2005 is the beginning of YouTube, to give you an example. 2007 is the beginning of the smartphone. So 2005 is really the beginning of how the internet has changed our life and changed the human being. So this was something very important for us, was to create a new model of sharing the collection, which was not the traditional one based on the, I shall say, a white tube or only loaning works, but it was about creating a phygital experience, physical and digital. This is a little bit how we begin this collection. And from that time, we resonate as much as we can with our time. And this collection has also begun also to be more and more a family collection with our daughter managing also the collection and the new projects.
So when we first started discussing with Sylvain, he came to me and he was excited, and he actually said, I have one piece, because he recommended some artists, but he wasn't using us at all. He said, I have one piece that I think is an exceptional piece, and I think Heidi will show it. Could you put that into a space? And the history a little bit of the collection is actually something that we built for one particular space, and maybe Heidi even without an avatar is possible. But this is for an artist called maybe Gia Ali, and we built the space specifically even before the DSL collection for this artist. Sylvain, maybe you want to give a couple of words about Gia Ali and the space and how you feel about it.
Yeah, Gia Ali is a very interesting young artist. Younger, he's now in his 30s. We met him in 2007, and he was working on this huge 6 meters by 15 meters painting. And he was working on this painting in a gallery in front of everybody. It was a kind of performance. The work was not sold at the gallery when it was exhibited. And so we decided to collect it. And what was interesting when I met Marek and Heidi, I asked them, I would like this work not only to be exhibited as a traditional work can be exhibited, but I would like you to think to make an experience out of that, to create a context which is linked, which is related to the artwork. And you've created this context where you can see the work, and also you can see a missile, and it was very interesting to see how we begin our relation with ANASAEA, not only by a traditional gallery, but by really creating a very unique experience. And from that experience, we move after to a more traditional gallery where we have exhibited our works.
Thank you, Sylvain. So yeah, this was sort of our first project together, and it was specifically built for the one artist. I have one question for you, Sylvain. When you're using sort of a 3D exhibition versus a website, how do you see the difference for yourself as a collector, or for an artist, or for the ability to display? What is the difference for you, whether in web or in VR? How do you experience it?
You know, the experience is dramatically different. You know, till today we look at a screen of in a cinema, a screen of a computer, a screen of a smartphone. With VR, you are inside, so you can feel the dimensions, you can feel the room, you can move inside, you can see the work from all types of angles. You also can create, because you don't have any physical constraint, you can create very interesting way to move. It can be, you can fly and look at the work. You can go even inside the work. So it's a huge difference. And also, what is a plus plus is that now with avatars, you can go with other people, look at works. When I see other people, it can be the artist who's presenting his works in a studio using his avatar, and he can make it very lively. And this is something very, very important, is a real step forward in the way we are going to experience art and many other things.
So I have to say, at the beginning of this journey, both my development team and Sylvain were pushing the idea of avatars, and I was actually quite against it. I have to say, Sylvain, but you proved me quite wrong. The ability to communicate and the ability to have your own persona has actually proved to be an amazing help to us in terms of both the artist being able to meet in immersive spaces or use it as an exhibition or as a communication tool. So after this, we actually built the DSL collection, and maybe Heidi, if you can just show a couple of scenes from the museum, and maybe Sylvain, you want to give a couple of comments just as we are walking through it. And then we can go a little bit more about personal branding and how we can leverage modern tools. But just your viewpoint on this structure and how you use it in your daily life, if you use it.
We went into digital museums, especially VR museums, since 2015. And what made us go and push into this direction was that in the collection, there are mainly very big works, big installations, big paintings, big sculptures. That these works are difficult to install, difficult to move, and the only way to do it is to go through an immersive experience. And naturally, an immersive experience is also a museum, a white cube. And so with this white cube, we are showing 35 of the works out of 250 works that we have in the collection. That these works that we have chosen are representative of the diversity of the collection. What is interesting also is with ANASAEA, we have the possibility to change very easily the works exhibited. And so for us, it's very interesting to be capable also to enrich the exhibition by new works or by new sculptures or by new videos, and to be capable to do it by ourselves. So it's a very useful tool for us to show works which are difficult to show, but also to show them in the way we can manage easily the exhibitions.
So you manage the exhibition by yourself, because that's one question I get a lot from people that go, oh, this looks very complicated to do. And at the beginning we helped you do it, but now you're doing it by yourself. Is that right?
Totally. And I can tell you it's not at all complicated. And really, Heidi, you've done a great job with your the user guide that you've done and the videos. I think it's very, very useful the way you can help people with all these tools to, I should say, to take control of their website, of this, I should say, their space in the application. It's very easy, really very, very easy.
So moving away from this topic, I would like to talk to you also about branding, because we have a lot of artists, and you are quite good at branding. You're quite good at branding the DSL collection, and you're embracing new technologies to do it. Can you give advice how you see branding, how you do it for DSL collection, and what are elements for you that are important? Not even including ANASAEA, just on a total basis, if you give us any ideas.
It's a very difficult question. Um,
Sorry.
I'm not a specialist of marketing, and I will just tell you what I do for myself and what I think it's relevant for me. I think that first, branding is very, very important today. I think that it's very important to, 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 to share with the others what you want to share of yourself. And then after, even more than that, to have the others share with their others what you have shared with them. To do is important, to make it know is even more important, and to make it shared is even more important. When we speak of branding, I think it's very important to know what you want people to perceive from you. And what is fundamental is to be authentic. Don't try to fool the people with things that are not yourself, or you don't want or you create artificially to be, I shall say, to be perceived. Because at a moment, very quickly, people will notice what is authentic as not authentic. So this is the first thing: is be yourself, and really make people empathic with what you are. The other thing which is important is to take your time to build a brand. It's take a time, go step by step. Don't try to have thousand and thousand and thousand followers. Try to have a community behind yourself. And the more you build a community, the stronger you will be. And also, the more this community could help you to disseminate your artworks or your project, or even more, to monetize your project or your artworks. And then after, try to engage new types of communities by using new types of mediums, new types of messages, and also by increasing your network. It's very, very important to increase your network as much as you can. So I don't have a silver bullet to answer to your question. I don't have recipes, but this is what I've been trying to do.
So, I mean, we at ANASAEA, we have a similar sort of feeling. I believe personally that the internet, which is currently two-dimensional, where you can go to a website and click on a JPEG and look at it, that does not represent the world that we live in. The world that we live in is three-dimensional, whether you're using your phone, whether you're using web, or whether you're using VR. The ability to have new and modern techniques to view things is fundamentally important, and the technology is getting better and better. Even now, with the release of the Apple Vision Pro, there's a huge marketing push towards that. However, what we encourage our artists to do, and what we encourage our users to do, is actually not just use our platform as a website. And this is really something important for me. This is your own personal space, whether you use our product as a freemium product or whether you don't. Please invite people there, meet people there from different places, use it as a communication tool. Because in the end, if you're just waiting for somebody to come to your website, that's just kind of hoping that they're going to come to your website. In my opinion, it's about inviting people there. It's about showing them what you've built and using it as your own personal space. I know that Sylvain has invited quite a lot of people.
Yes. I shall add even something. If you get accustomed to use this digital space, and you use it frequently, you will see that it's easier to bring people in the digital space than to bring them in the physical space. In the digital space, you can bring people from all over the world at any time. In the physical space, in your studio, it's a little bit more restrained. So I think that you should have this kind of digital approach, physical and digital, and work to make people join you also digitally with their avatar, because you don't need a VR headset to go to visit you. In ANASAEA, you can have an iPad, an iPhone, and people can come in your studio just with an iPad and iPhone. But also, if they have the chance to have a headset, the experience will be amplified. But the others' experiences are also very, very relevant.
So some of these works are very intricate and quite big. So we mentioned already the GLE is 15 meters by 6. There's some very large also sculptures in here. Maybe Sylvain, just for the audience, and later on we will invite everybody to come visit us here. Could you point out 2 or 3 of your favorite art pieces and give us just a little history lesson behind them? Maybe Heidi.
Yeah, you see, for instance, the sculpture of Big Buddha of Zhangguan. It's a 6 meters sculpture made with the wood by pear wood. It's a very unique piece because if you look, it's the sculpture of a baby, but in his hand you have a small bronze of a human person, and the human person is the dimension of a human person. So you have a human person in the sculpture of a baby, and it's a 6 meters high sculpture. It's very strong. It reflects the power of awe, of making people being amazed by creating objects. I think this is one of the one. Behind you have the 2 videos of an artist called Lu Yang. She's one of the most interesting young artists at this moment. We have collected, it's an installation where there are 2 other works. If we go, I don't know, move a little bit, I don't know where you want to, not in this, I go to the other side. Yes, you can go to the cage. The cage is also very interesting work. It's a 3 meters high cage, and inside you have an angel with broken wings. It's in San Juan and Panyu artwork. It has been exhibited in many places, and always it attracts a lot of attention. I think what is interesting with the works that we collect, we want people to react to the works, to question themselves, to have a kind of shock, emotionally speaking, to question themselves. And I think what is important in art is to create an emotion, to create a question, to create a reaction. That's make the power of a good artwork.
So, what do you, Sylvain, what do you see from a global perspective, so you've collected European art, you've collected design, you've collected now Chinese art that you've brought to Europe. Maybe some of that art is probably never going to see China again. And actually, I was talking to somebody in Hong Kong the other day who was quite familiar with a lot of your work. He said, wow, I didn't even know that some of that was not in China anymore. And he was quite happy to see it. But what do you see as a challenge on a global basis for artists to get recognition? How can they use technology to find a way to actually do something that you've done? Because you've brought things from China, which is a huge country, and now they're sort of in one spot. How do you see that from your perspective? How can artists utilize technology?
Can you just repeat your question, because there was a break in the sound?
So what are the primary somehow challenges for artists right now to be recognized globally, and how could they use technology to achieve that?
You know, the first step is to go on Instagram. Really, it's the place where people discover art at this moment. It's Instagram. Once you have discovered, when you are already familiar by using digital tools to express yourself, you move very quickly to something a little bit more sophisticated, like what you're doing here with ANASAEA. But I think that you have to go slowly and use the easiest way to be visible is at this moment is social networks, and especially social networks which are related to images, Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok. Then after, really, you go to something like that.
Yeah, but I agree with you there.
But very quickly, you have to get accustomed to immersive spaces.
So for us, actually sharing is quite easy, and I agree with you. I think going on Instagram, going on Facebook, going on LinkedIn, and even WhatsApp to share it's important. And for ANASAEA, we've built up the sharing capability. And right now, we're going to show you how to share, and we're going to share also this space in the chat. So the sharing function is right up there. You're able to share it by copying the link, by WhatsApp, by Facebook. Also, in the future, we will be integrating with Instagram. Right now, what Heidi is going to do is just going to copy exactly this gallery, which you can see how easy it is, and she's going to paste it into the chat. We're not inviting you to go there yet, but she's going to paste it into the chat so that you can start to load it in case you want to also meet us in the DSL collection. So we will go there in a few minutes after we discuss a couple things. But Heidi, if you can paste it into the chat so people can load it. When you go there, please, when you go to the DSL collection, you have to pick an avatar. So if you do not pick an avatar, then we will not be able to see you or talk to you. But it's a choice you make. So with the DSL collection or with ANASAEA, you can pick an avatar, and then you're able to be an avatar like Heidi's going to do now, and you'll be able to see and hear and talk to each other. And if you want to be alone and just admire the DSL collection, then you can be alone and not pick an avatar. You can also make a custom avatar. That takes a little bit of time. But if any of you want to go there, we will be there in a few minutes. However, I would like to also now make a couple of announcements, and this is something that I'm kind of excited about. So Sylvain, it's here. You see, I have it. So Sylvain asked us to, because Sylvain, he's a big fan of many different platforms. So we are on app, we are on web, and we are in Meta. He asked us also to move the DSL collection, and in the end, ANASAEA to Apple Vision Pro. So it actually arrived from the US yesterday, and I'm going to hand it over to my developers without even using it. I don't trust myself. I'm going to give it straight to them, so we can migrate also to Apple Vision Pro. So that's an announcement that I guess maybe Sylvain, maybe you can comment on. Why did you push me to do this? Because it wasn't my first priority, but it was yours. What's your opinion?
It's since 2005, we really have surfed on the digital wave. We just went from a website to a Second Life to VR, VR to video game to the metaverse. And what's happening today is a new medium is arriving, a medium called Vision Pro. Vision Pro will be a new way to connect with any type of digital experience. And you know that Apple is always, when it begins something, it's always the beginning of something new. Apple always bring new types of experiences, bring new types of communities. And I think that the Vision Pro will bring something new in the way we will also experience any type of computing experiences. And it's important to be the first, among the first, to, I shall say, offer art experience using this tool. And this is why I suggested to do that. And thank you very much for saying yes. And I
Accepting
think that
the challenge.
and
You're
that
always
indeed-
pushing me to push my limits, Sylvain.
yeah, but you know, it's by pushing your limits that you are on the move, and being on the move makes you different from the others and makes you stay ahead. I think it's very, very important to stay ahead. I think it's very, very important to always to make technology serving art and not art serving technology. But I think Vision Pro will be something important in the future. And being the first one to test and learn will give you a serious advantage compared to the others in the very short time.
So, I mean, I can say from my side that, like, just from a statistical perspective, the average time somebody spends in an ANASAEA 3D gallery is 8 minutes. It's going up by 40% a month. I think Sylvain increases the average for us because you spend quite a bit of time in here taking a look around. But we really do encourage to spend time in your galleries and to invite other people there, because once you do get used to it, even if it's on app or if it's on your iPad, it becomes natural. And I've heard the argument, and I'd like to ask you that argument, that art has to be experienced physically. It has to be experienced only in a gallery or a museum. And I challenge that. I challenge that as a technology provider, because I think art should be universally available, and I think everybody should have a chance to experience it. And I had this discussion with Sylvain once about VR, and how I said, okay, but VR maybe is even more for the young people. And you challenged me, and you mentioned that actually this capability for people to access is completely age irrelevant. In fact, maybe it's even more relevant to be able to use technology if you become like slightly older. What's your opinion on like the idea that art has to be physical, or that it's only for the youth that is technology?
It's a cliche. It's a cliche. You know, once again, look at what's happening in the others industry, in the music industry, in the book industry, in the newspaper industry, in the cinema industry. All these industries have digitalized their contents. And all these industries are surviving because the contents has also been digitalized. You know, it's true that the best and authentic way to experience music is to go to a concert. But today, people discover music the digital way through Spotify. But also, where do they discover music? This is with a video clip on YouTube. So I think that we have to learn to add experiences and not to make one against the other. The other thing which is very important, coming back to the headset. Today, the headset is no more really a problem in terms of price, because you can buy a Meta Quest 2 for less than $300. You don't have to buy the Apple Pro. So for $300, you have a very good first, I should say, headset, VR headset. And if you want to put $500, the Quest 3 is very, very good. So it's no more a question of price. It's just a question of, just, I shall say, you have to go one step further in the way you look at things, and you will enjoy. You will see, if you take a headset, don't spend 3 hours with your headset on your eyes, but you will see that the few experiences that you will have with the headset will convince you that this is something very, very different than from a traditional way to experience art.
So I agree. On the other hand, not everybody is going to get a headset. So I can say something important from our side, that also in the last 2 weeks, my lovely developers have made the availability to upload art and also create galleries available also on mobile. So the experience on mobile maybe is not as good as in VR, but it's fundamentally your gallery in your pocket. You can take it anywhere with you, and that's a device that everybody has access to. And for us, that's a very important part of the democratization. Of course, as headsets become more and more prolific, and they are going to become, because Apple is there and Meta is there, it's going to be more acceptable everywhere. And I think using all the different technologies is important. But for us, it's important that it's ubiquitous and that it's available on all the different platforms. So we're coming kind of a little bit to the end of our discussion. Again, there is the ANASAEA link in the chat. I see some people already have started to join. You just have to click on the link in the chat and come there. You're able to have conversations there as well. However, before we finish this this discussion here, I would like to give Sylvain the opportunity to maybe say any few words, any good advice he has for artists, whether the new artists or up-and-coming artists, as a collector, as somebody who's been collecting for a long time, irrespective of technology or ANASAEA. What is some advice you can give to artists?
I think that my advice will be naturally to stay a traditional artist. Means that art is linked with skills, with creativity, with humanity. It's very important. It's very important, but because art is about incarnation. It's about incarnation. An artist has the power to incarnate an object into something else. And this will never change. And the more you are capable to incarnate something, the more you will be recognized as a great artist. But to become a great artist, also, you have to work on the way you manage your career. It's managing its career means a lot in how you make yourself visible, how you create a market, how you are capable to last, how you are capable to recreate yourself on the long term by being, as I'll say, having different ways to move your career in terms of art. It's a very challenging, I shall say, journey, the journey of a collector. But today, with the tools that you have incredible tools to make yourself visible. Before, let us say even 20 years ago, 30 years ago, the only way that an artist was capable to make himself visible was just to print a book. And who was going to have access to the book? It was very limited. And the only way to be visible was to have a an exhibition in a museum or a space or in a gallery, which was very limited in terms of visibility. Today, you can use a lot of new tools. You can build yourself a community around yourself and by yourself, which is very new. It's very new. You know, Bansky, Coase, there's many artists who came from nowhere and they became very famous because they use these new tools and use the immersive tools, because the immersive tools, get accustomed to the immersive tools, because the immersive tools are the future. And so
Wow.
I'm very positive for the future, very positive for the artists for the future, because you will have a lot of freedom, and even more to finish, you'll even have the freedom to sell using blockchain, using NFT. So, you know, just it's a question of state of mind. Put yourself in a positive state of mind, and work hard, and you have a chance to succeed.
Thank you, Sylvain. I think that was a very eloquent and well put and final words. I would like to thank you very much for coming. And
It's
I'd
my
like
pleasure. Thank you, Heidi. Thank you, Marek. And you know, I'm
you very much.
very. I want to tell something. I'm very happy with our collaboration. You know, we together we are pushing the boundaries together. You are very reactive, and really, I learned a lot with what you're doing, and learning a lot for the collection on how I shall move the collection. We shall move the collection. And once again, thank you very much for your support, and really, I really appreciate it very much.
Thank you. So everybody, if you want to join, we will be in the DSL Museum. I think Sylvain will join as well. But for the rest of the time, I'd just like to say thank you very much, and it was a pleasure having you all. Have a wonderful afternoon, and please do join us. Or if you have no time now, please also join us anytime you want. The collection is available 365 days a year.
Thank you very much for joining.
Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.